I'm Jane Donovan. Come and join me on my new show, The Park Bench, where we discuss, share points of view, wisdom and advice on all the hottest topics being pondered in today's world. This is a show by all of us, for we the people, where you get to have your say on what really matters to you. Together, let's co-create to get the conversations happening right here on the park bench. Today's question I pose to our guests is, what is your favourite wisdom? We have a wonderful variety of answers that I'm sure will have you smiling, pondering, remembering, and feeling uplifted by. And once again, we are joined from people from all over the world. So let's hear what they have to say.
Hi, my name is Jason and I'm from Whangaroa, New Zealand. This is one of my favorite quotes and it's from Sufi poet Rumi. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. And what that means to me is it's a place without judgment. It's a place where we remove our ego. It's a place where we create space for anything to happen. Yeah, there's no right or wrong. There's no, this and that, and you should do this, and you ought to do this. It's just what is happening right now in this moment, and how do we respond, and how do we choose to respond? I love that.
Hi, I'm Lane from Lifesource, and I co-host Talking Galactic with my mom, Joyce Keller, and FDA Not Approved with Terry Lynn. It's do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And that was by Jesus, also known as Sananda Yeshua ben Joseph, I think is his correct name, the name he likes to go by. Anyway, if you do unto others as you would have them do unto you, as a child, that statement allows you to put into perspective what it is to put others first. Of course, you need boundaries. Of course, you need to be self-protective, and to love the self. But as long as you're treating others how you want to be treated, it comes back to you. If not from that exact person, it comes back. And B, you learn the foundation of unconditional love. That's where it stems from. So it bleeds into the next. As you know, I do a lot of writing and producing, and I'm almost always overworked and underpaid. I'm not manifesting that. I'm manifesting a completely different reality. But there is a character in broadcast news that Holly Hunter plays. Her name is Jane Craig, and she's a news producer. And she just runs around and she does everything, right? And she's brilliant at her job, but she's so freaking preoccupied with getting it done and doing right. She has no self-awareness whatsoever. So, and she comes across as rather brusque, right? Maybe a little rude because she wants to get the job done and she wants it perfect. I'm sure she's a Virgo. Anyway, the head of the studio one day very sarcastically says, "What's it like knowing absolutely everything?" And she says, "Oh, it's terrible." The thing is, how do you say this? We are seated here. We're put here. We are tasked. We are told in a good way. And if we want, we have free will to refuse it. But, when I asked the Arcturians last fall, look, am I done? Like, should I just go write a book on a boat, or, turn my house and, up over and go live on a houseboat somewhere and just write novels like Agatha Christie? I mean, what should I do? And they're like, you are not done. Stay with it. So, whatever. I've known from an early age, as I'm sure you have, that we're here to do something. And it comes with, a heavy load sometimes. It is a self thing. We're not doing it for aggrandizement, ego, power, control, recognition, accolades. In fact, we get none of that. I have gotten none of that. Times, even though I try very hard to distance myself emotionally from the stuff that's going on so that I can work better and clearer and more directed without being sidelined by emotion. The weight of the world is on our shoulders. It really is. And we think about it all the time. It infiltrates our conversations. It's what we're thinking about as other people are chattering on about sports or, whatever, what color to paint their walls. We're thinking about how do we save the world? So, yeah.
Hi, I'm Jaylin and I'm from South Australia. I think one thing that I've always stuck with is this too will pass. Nothing's forever. So the good moments, the bad moments, it all happens. It will all move on and shape in different ways. So yeah, now this too will pass is something I hold to because it makes you kind of live more in the now than, nothing lasts forever.
Hello, my name is Neil. I'm the host of the show and series called Unlocking the Code. I live in the UK, in the northwest of the UK, in a little town called Carlisle, near to the Scottish border. And one of the things that I've noticed and that people are very much into is negativity, right? Because of what's going on and because of the fear factor and everybody seems to be in it. The one thing I'll say is words of wisdom is that negativity begets negativity. Positivity begets positivity. But when you're in a reality situation, then you should always do as you see and how it unfolds for you. So never follow the status quo. Always follow your own heart and always follow your own intuition when you're faced with choices. And that way you will always find the right path. If you allow yourself to be influenced by others and you allow yourself to be drawn into their world and their reality, then you'll never achieve anything other than what they want you to achieve. To become you have to step outside of your comfort zone and theirs and just make your own reality up as you go along. So, if you want to watch the news, but watch it with a positive eye and watch it with, positivity and learn from it rather than let it bother you deeply and make you fearful of walking outside and going for a walk with your dog and walking in the rain and so on. So wisdom, in a word, in a nutshell, be yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name's Nikki. I'm from Ask the Body Kinesiology in South Australia. Okay, so when I'm working with clients in kinesiology, I sometimes use flower essences. So that is the vibrational medicine of a flower. I use a lot of nature in my healing space, but one of my favorites is undoubtedly flower essences. And so how they work is they are used with intention to capture the essence of the vibrational essence of the flower. So they don't cut the flower. The flower maintains its living state. And under a full moon, they capture the essence vibrationally in purified water, and then it's bottled sometimes with a little bit of alcohol to preserve the essence. And they usually test up for people when they're at the end of their tether. If a flower essence tests up for one of my clients, I will always quote Mark Twain, a Mark Twain quote, because what I know is if the flower essence has tested up for this person, they are on their knees, whether they know it or not. They're ready to surrender to something greater, and it's like they're at the end of their tether, and the only way forward is forgiveness. And I love forgiveness. I love working with the whole concept of that process, and and I like to break it down as forgiving to yourself. And the quote is, and I just think this is so beautiful, the quote is, Forgiveness is the fragrance that the violet sheds upon the heel that has crushed it. And so for me, I'm going to say that again, actually, because I do like to say it, and then let's just connect to it again. So forgiveness is the fragrance that the violet sheds upon the heel that has crushed it. So we're all going to get crushed. We've all been crushed. We've been trodden on. We've been pushed down. And the most loving thing I think that we can do for ourselves, first and foremost, and for the planet, is to forgive the heel that has crushed us. And so, connecting to that the concept that the flower will give its beautiful essence, which is the most loving thing, because that's what flowers are. They're pure love, and they're about blossoming energy, and they're, opening up, and regardless of the environment and how they've been trodden on. So I just think that's the most beautiful and profound thing. And every single time it doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, I have the opportunity to remind myself of the beautiful act of forgiveness, and connect back to flowers, and which takes us to nature, and that nature is always thriving, whether we're noticing or not, and that we are nature. So, be the flower. So I say to them, be the flower, be the forgiveness, be that essence. It's the most loving thing that you can do. And so, I think that's my favorite bit of wisdom.
Hello, I'm Joyce Keller, and my website is my name, joycekeller.com, and I'm a psychic medium, and I'm an author, radio, TV host, and I'm here to serve. It's very short, and it's what Jesus said as his last words. It's love one another. And if people could do themselves a huge favor, and if you're a web junkie, as most of us are, you would go to near-death experiences. And this is, to me, the greatest source of wisdom on the planet at this time. People who have crossed over and come back with wisdom. And one thing, I think all of them will tell you this, there's one word that really counts, that's the word love. We're here to express love for one another. And you can say, well, how can that be when we have wars and so forth going on? It's because we're trying to get to that place of love and sharing and caring for one another. And you see, there are people who are actually going into the battle zones and bringing in food and bringing in water and there was even somebody playing the piano in the middle of, somewhere in the middle of the Ukraine. They were sitting there playing the piano. So it's love. Love one another, as Jesus said.
My name is Larissa, and I migrated from Russia to Australia 28 years ago. And I am accredited energy practitioner and therapist, and I'm running a business named Ascara from down south of Adelaide. In terms of wisdom, right? Like what I think we are all wisdom, because our energy consciousness system, the body, the psychology, the biology, the emotions, the spiritual part of ourselves create that integrated system that is already holding all the wisdom that we already had for eons, right? It's only that we don't have awareness of it. And we're using only very little and limited part of ourselves in our life to achieve what we've been showing the success is. Because the world of success is changing dramatically, and we need to start to retrieve all of this wisdom that we have within ourselves. Number one, we need to start to synchronize our own human rhythms with the cosmic rhythms. That really is important, because we lost this sensibility or senses of being connected and synchronized with the rhythms of the cosmic creation, right? And that's why we created so busy lives. We don't even have a moment to sit with ourselves and understand even our own rhythmic impulses, where we at, what we do, how we think, how we feel, right? Yet alone to understand all of these alterations of the creation, day and night, weeks, months, years, seasons. How do we create our life in accordance and together with these rhythms so that we can actually flow consciously through it?
Hi, it's Adam from Mount Barker in South Australia, 46 and fabulous. There's many of different pieces of wisdom for different things. Unfortunately, I don't listen to them all. Sometimes it's too late before I listen to them, but probably my favourite piece is "This too shall pass." No matter how good things get, or how bad things get, they're just moments and they will all pass. So cherish both the good, cherish both the bad, both the good and the bad, and because it is only a moment.
Hi, I'm Bev, and I'm from the beautiful Fleurieu Peninsula. I guess very recently, or probably over the last 12 months, I've really come to believe that non-judgment has to be a thing in my life. So I really believe that it is really important to just take everyone on face value and accept everybody for who they are. And it just makes life so much easier. If you just don't have any preconceived notions and judgments on people, just accept them for who they are, and don't try and change anybody.
Hi, I'm Peter and I'm from Canberra. I developed this wisdom, and like all wisdom, it's like it's not new. it's something someone else has probably discovered, or they've learned it from someone else. So, but it's something that I spent a lot of time, I guess, learning about, researching, and I use that really tenuously. I don't mean I did a PhD on it, but it was around raising teenagers. As you know, I have an interest in raising teenagers, and I'm interested in rites of passage, camps for teenage boys, and all that sort of stuff. But it was about, the wisdom was around the importance of connection and keeping connection with teenagers. And if you start losing connection with teenagers, that's when you're going to start having struggles. And I know it sounds so obvious, but, I'm a member of lots of parenting groups on Facebook. And, there's a lot of parents there who are more interested in punishment and house rules and, taking the doors off the hinges. I've never heard this before till I joined this Facebook group. They take the doors off the hinges when the kid's done something wrong, and about, rules around sex and rules around what time you're coming home. And I find all that stuff really bizarre. And I can see the power struggles that are created in that sort of parenting. And I see what happens from that, through the rites of passage camps that I'm involved in. I see the consequences of that loss of connection. And look, it's not something in most tribal societies, there comes a stage where the kids are raised by the community, are raised by the tribe. It's often the uncles that are disciplining the children, not the parents themselves. But these days, just about all kids are just really raised by the parents, hopefully two parents, often not. And of course, this is not judgment on those parents at all. I hate that sort of kind of judging parenting. But like the most important thing is just keeping connection with children. And it's the, what do they call it? It's the circle of safety or circle of attachment. There's a theory we know with toddlers that you kind of let them go off and explore, and then you're the safe place for them to come back to. And then they go out and explore a bit further. And for some reason, when that was created, it was just it was a parenting tool for all children, but we've turned it into a tool just for toddlers. But it's just as important for teenagers that you create this safe place for them to come back to. And I think there was a great book I read during this time, and it's called Hold On to Your Kids, Why Parents Need to Matter More Than Peers. And the authors are Gordon Neufeld and Gabor Mate. And it's just a great book. And almost everything you need to know is in the title of that book. You know, you as parents need to matter more than their peers. And some people kind of confuse this with helicopter parenting. It's not. You know, at the same time of creating this safe place for teenagers to come back to and keep in connection, you're also developing their independence away from you, you know, at the same time. So I think that's it. That's the wisdom. For me, I think there's one trick in parenting, and that's to keep that connection with your kids.
My name is Rula, originally from Greece. I love to cook, to travel, and to do coaching work and journalistic work. Whatever you do it with love. Whatever you're going to be honest. And it just came. There's so many beautiful quotes that I implemented in my life. One of them is, how I do one thing is how I do everything. Meaning that there is a pattern in my behavior. Even though I move in different areas in one day, you know, even physical, moving myself from area to area or from sector to sector, how I do one thing is how I do everything. So if I do stuff with love and honesty in the cooking, I would do that in performing, I would do that in counseling, I would do that in any area and anything that I would be active with. Yeah.
I'm Julia and I'm from South Australia, and I live in a little town in the Barossa with 3 children. You know, when young people speak, especially young people, don't interrupt them, just let them get to the end. And then even if it's something that you think, oh no, that's a bit wacky, just like ask them where they're coming from, and you may find out the most amazing things that children have thought of. I mean, only a few weeks ago, I found out that my youngest daughter, a few years ago, she would go stand on a rock on the side of the road, right? Oh, not the road, the house. And she would have little games there, and she would mention little things about it, and it kind of, if I can think of, for instance, my grandmother might have said to her when she speaks about her little games, oh no, that's just silly, you can't fly, you know. I go, oh, but then you wouldn't have found out what I found out the other day. She absolutely believes that when she stood on a particular rock, she closed her eyes and she would fly. And she said, Mom, my eyes were closed, but I could see wherever I went. And well, what a wonderful insight I have into her little game, what her little mind was doing. And listen, don't interrupt, and don't put your own feelings or knowledge onto what a little child is saying.
My favourite wisdom is, are you coming from love or are you coming from fear? I've been blessed to have recorded many different podcasts and radio shows over the years, and I always start with this one as my first episode. I'd love you to have a listen to episode 1 of my show, Own Your Own Stuff, where I go into greater detail about the love and fear vibrations and stories. You can find the show at lifesource.global. I guess the title of the show also shares another piece of wisdom I enjoy, which is to own your own stuff. When we do this, we have the opportunity for growth, for self-empowerment and expansion of the self. Plus, it enables us to have the depth of relationships many are soul yearning for. There was a t-shirt saying going around, about 20 years ago, that said, "It's all about me." This was at the time meant as a joke, a self-entitled, self-centered kind of sarcastic comment. However, the truth is that everything that does happen to me is about me. We create our own realities within this matrix, and hence everything is about me. And the more we own this, the more we are able to grow into our superpowers and create the world that we desire to live in, being of service to both self and others. And when we are of service to self, we can be of greater service to others. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks for listening. You've been listening to The Park Bench with host me, Jane Donovan. To reach out to me, head to my website, janedonovan.com.au, and have a gorgeous day knowing you really are amazing.